interesting day. We have, first of all, we're going to have a whole bunch of members of our musicianship leadership program joining us. And what we have done because of online is we have merged everyone. So we have people in our program from the United States, from Canada, from Europe, some in Asia, and now some in South America. So it's very exciting. We have just an international group of people who are with us. So we will be featuring some of our standard music for people, learning the basics of music for people. So if you don't think you can improvise, and if you have and always wondered, so how do people do that? We can facilitate this. So please join us because improvisation is accessible to everybody. We will also have a lineup of very special guests who will be featuring the work that they're doing and quite an international lineup as well. So for those who have come to our workshops before, we want to introduce some new people and their work and what they're doing because Music for People work is so flexible. So we get a chance to see the different spin and also the kind of people who come and join our program. So one of our featured presenters, for example, is hailing from Umbria, Italy. And he is originally from Germany, a wonderful jazz pianist by the name of Jens Schumann. And Jens has been doing work with movement, the five elements, sounding, and qigong. So he will be offering us a movement and sound segment. We have Allison Wiener, who has been in our program actually, Allison graduated the same time as Alina, a few years before me. Allison is a celebrated jazz pianist in North Carolina, and she will be offering a session on how to find different grooves. And let me tell you, the moment Allison plays, you can't help but move and feel great. Alina, who are some of our other presenters?
Well, from right here in Syracuse, we're really pleased to have Jimbo Talbot, who's a drum circle facilitator with a wonderful energy that seems to come through even on Zoom. That's how great his energy is. And he also does a lot of sound healing, and we'll be doing a session doing some sound healing stuff. So we're very excited to have him. And did you mention Wendy Valerio yet?
Oh, thanks for reminding me. We have Dr. Wendy Valerio, and Dr. Valerio hails from South Carolina, where she teaches at the University of South Carolina in Columbia. Wendy is a published author and specialist for early music education. And we are so lucky to have Wendy in our MLP program. And she is embracing the art of improvisation and how it can be shared in the classroom and also with preschoolers. So Wendy will be presenting the work that she has been doing as well. We also have Kofi Donkar. Kofi is originally from Ghana. Kofi is a wonderful drummer, and he and Mary Kanish will be live offering some drum circle fun. So I guess you're probably asking, making music on Zoom, how do we do this? It's definitely not the same as live, but the connections are the same. And this feeling of inspiration is the same. And Alina and I and David, we can all tell you we've been making music on Zoom. We're making it work. David, is there anything you'd like to share too?
Well, I'm doing a workshop on basics, and I'm playing together, like you're saying, on Zoom. We're on Zoom, but we can connect, and a lot of people need this kind of connection, musical connection, now that we're all separated, and whether separated like this or normally, how do you sit down without a plan and make music together without any music in front of us, right? And I know I was new to it as a classically trained musician when I jumped in, and so there's a lot of fear about that with people, and whether trained or not, and it's so wonderful to see that disappear, to kind of evaporate in a field of safety where everyone around you believes you can't do it wrong. That's rare, really, even on Zoom, and but it's based on that this is easy to do, although it's not commonly done, right? So that doesn't mean it's difficult. And And so this idea of having no plan is profound now because we all have to do that now. The whole planet had to put its plans aside a year ago and function. And if you're able to improvise, it's been a little easier than if you really are anxious about what now, And so because we're jumping into that over and over as a sort of practice of like just dealing with whatever comes at you moment to moment, and making art out of that, I think.
Alina, could
David,
you speak about fear? And because all of us on this Zoom, we're all classically trained. And I know we all have, every classically trained musician is afraid of that wrong note and that first, what do we do? And what if my voice, and I don't have a good voice? Just say a little bit about fear and how Music for People has helped you revolutionize your life. I mean, by choosing all of us who've chosen to walk into this, in making that choice, we have walked into a transformative experience, and we've changed our own lives. So
Sure. So I think that Music for People and this practice of improvisation is the perfect balance with classical music training. At the same time, it's very welcoming to people from other genres. We have people come to workshops with a didgeridoo, with a bunch pan, with all sorts of folk instruments. And one of the things that I love is that this is one setting where those people can all sit down together and immediately play, and it works out beautifully. So I want to mention that too. This is not just for classical musicians, but as a classical musician, I think it's extremely useful for us to balance out the many hours that we practice, trying to perfect things, trying to bring our skill to a certain level. I think that for most of us, the reason we went into music is not because we thought it was fun to perfect a skill, but because of what comes usually in the classical world next, which is the expressive and the artistic part. So what's great about Music for People is it just drills down straight into that expressive part, and that's where you start. And it's been amazing over the years to see, both at Music for People and with my own students, how when you're focused on the expressive part, some of those other skills grow naturally without people even thinking about it. Some of the ear training skills, musical skills, expressive skills. So to have this practice where you kind of pull this bubble of improv over yourself, where we say there are no wrong notes and we're all about the expression, is just a wonderful counterpoint. Then if and when you do go back to, say, classical music, you bring that real feeling of heart with you as the core of what you're doing. And specifically for wind players, I know the oboe is a very fickle instrument. I love it, but it's a little cranky. Our reeds change with the weather, et cetera, et cetera. So if I'm in a symphony rehearsal and my reed makes a weird sound the first time I try to play, and it takes a minute to get going, that's not a good atmosphere for that. But if it happens in an improvisation, I would welcome that sound as an interesting percussive sound and play with it a little bit. And so it's great to kind of have that opportunity to take in anything that happens and make it part of your repertoire.